After being revived, Frieza was notified that the Saiyans have grown significantly in strength, even defeating Majin Buu with very little effort. While Frieza is deep in thought, someone enters the room, telling him that they both need to train if they want to successfully get their revenge on the Saiyans. Frieza then scowls, saying he's not one for training, but if that's what it'll take to get rid of them for good, he'll go along with it. Turning to face a mysterious person, we finally see that it's Cooler. He's been keeping track on the Saiyans' growth for the last couple of decades. He thought since the Saiyans were off planet, it is the perfect time for him to be brought back to life. Since Frieza's been dead, he's been planning out how they will get their revenge, with him noting that one Saiyan in particular has a much higher growth rate than all the others, with that Saiyan being Gohan, of course. Frieza thinks back, trying to remember where he's heard that name before. Then it finally hits him. He's the brat that he fought on Namek that had those crazy explosive boosts and powers, rivaling his transformations, even forcing him to use 100% of his power at one point. Cooler then continues saying he's easily much stronger than both those other Saiyans combined, with them even obtaining some sort of divine key in their fight against Beerus the Destroyer. Hearing that, Frieza is terrified since there's no way they should be still alive after fighting Beerus. If Gohan is stronger than these two, then there's no way that they stand a chance against them. Cooler tells Frieza to calm down as the two lost to Beerus. He was clearly looking for some future rival of sorts, with them not being anywhere near his level of power. He didn't even seem to be struggling at all, and he was just using them as some form of amusement. Frieza calms down a bit, with Cooler continuing on, saying he's learned a great deal from watching them over the years, gaining a clear understanding of how they were able to improve at such a crazy pace and how they figure out how powerful an opponent is. They have the ability to sense ki and have mastered it to an insane degree. He actually managed to pick up the ability to sense ki to a degree, saying prior to them getting divine ki, they weren't impossible for him to defeat with the amount of training he's done so far. But Gohan remained a huge problem to him when it is the same growth rate. He then says he believes 6 months of training together should be more than enough for them to completely wipe the floor with them. Cooler then has the Force make the necessary preparations for the up and coming training as they proceed to train with a much better routine than Frieza did in canon for the next 6 months. We cut back to Earth as we see Gohan and Piccolo meditating in their usual training spot, with them overseeing Goten and Trunks sparring with each other. The two recently just unlocked Super Saiyan 3, but they haven't mastered it nearly to the level of Goku and Vegeta. And under the tutelage of Gohan and Piccolo, they've both become much better fighters, with them improving their ki control from Piccolo and learning how to utilize their anger to make their attacks much more effective without losing control of themselves from Gohan. That's when Piccolo senses Frieza and his army's arrival. Landing nearby, the Z fighters confront Frieza. Then of course, just like in canon, Frieza sends all of his soldiers around the planet to split up Z fighters. They take out every one of his soldiers with ease since everyone here is much stronger than they are in canon, and they regroup to go take down Frieza. That's when Goku and Vegeta show up with Beerus and Whis in tow. And of course, Frieza is a bit shocked to see Beerus here, but Beerus still says he won't step in, confirming what he was told by Cooler. He then bursts into his final form, ready to fight Goku and Vegeta at the same time, with them realizing how strong he is, as they both transform into Super Saiyan 2 to combat him. Gohan is ready to jump in, but he is then blindsided from Final Form Cooler from behind, catching everyone there off guard. Beerus doesn't really know who the other guy is, but he's pretty confident he's probably a relative of Frieza. Whis confirms his guess, saying he is in fact Frieza's brother. He might not be as much of a mutant as his brother, but he's much more intelligent and strategic when confronted with problems. Everyone heard what Whis said and wondered if they would be able to beat these two, until Goku and Vegeta decides it's time to end this, bursting into Super Saiyan Blue ready to end Frieza, with him responding by turning into his golden form. Goku and Vegeta realize that Frieza is much stronger than they are. Actually, he's almost the strongest. That's when they sense Gohan and Cooler's energy exploding as they both transformed into their more powerful forms. Beerus is actually impressed with how much Gohan has grown since they last fought, saying he might have to fight him again in the future. Same with that Cooler guy. Gohan, sensing Cooler's energy in his golden form, realized that he might be a problem. It already seemed like he studied how he fights, as he's been perfectly countering all his attacks, even predicting a lot of his attacks before he even throws them. Now that he's about as strong as he is at his full power, he might have a lot of trouble on his hands here. Cooler speaks for the first time in the fight, saying he studied him and his friends for about 2 decades now, learning how he thinks, how he fights, who he cares about, and his source of power. The chances he had to beat him at right now are very slim, as he charges at Gohan, starting to push him back. At the same time, Goku and Vegeta are being beat by Frieza. Goten and Trunks jump in to back up Gohan, and Piccolo jumps in to back up Goku and Vegeta. taking a bit of pressure off them, but they're still on the back foot. Gohan starts to implement more and more of his Kai techniques to try and throw Cooler off, which doesn't work much at first because he can sense their energy. But as soon as he starts to use blocks of Kachi in his cover and teleporting them around with him, it starts to confuse him, even allowing Goten and Trunks to do a bit of damage against him here. Same with Goku and using instant transmission to trip up Frieza. They do some really good damage against the two, but eventually Gohan and Goku get read like a book, getting sniped by a laser from their respective villains, leading to Vegeta, Piccolo, Goten, and Trunks to try to fight them on their own. After being pushed to the brink, Vegeta finally understands how to correctly utilize Super Saiyan Blue, with him unlocking some sort of full power version of it, leaking much less ki than he did before. This actually puts him and Frieza on even grounds for the time being. Unfortunately, Goten and Trunks are just being bullied by Cooler at this point. They are nowhere near as strong as the others, so Coolers just have a massive advantage against the two. That, and him studying everyone on Earth for a while, he finds gaps in their defenses and exploits them fairly often, tipping them down slowly. While everyone is fighting, Krillin flies over to Gohan and Goku and giving them senzu beans, restoring them back to full strength. They take a second to assess the situation, trading information. Gohan says Cooler has been observing everyone on Earth for the last 20 years, and he's learned almost everything about his fighting style. He doesn't even know if he's going to be able to beat him. Goku thinks for a second. Then he says, if he knows your fighting style, try fighting like someone else. Gohan didn't actually think about trying that. He did say he has the most knowledge of Gohan's fighting style. It should be easy to throw him off by switching up fighting styles in the middle of the fight. Gohan thanks him as he flies back in, re-engaging his fight with Cooler. Meanwhile, Goku continues to watch Vegeta vs Frieza. He understands that Vegeta finally pushed Super Saiyan Blue to its fullest, unlocking the full power of the form while simultaneously controlling his ki to such a degree it doesn't leak anymore. He focuses for a few seconds, then bursting back into Super Saiyan Blue, trying not to leak out any ki, also obtaining full power Super Saiyan Blue. With him and Vegeta fighting Frieza now, he's having a much tougher time here, leading to him eventually getting knocked out of his golden form with him trying to blow up the planet, failing that miserably, being killed by Vegeta with a Big Bang attack before he can even try to shoot off a blast to destroy the planet. Cutting back to the Hybrids versus Cooler, we see Cooler is starting to struggle with Gohan and his newfound plan of swapping fighting styles. After swapping through different fighting styles, he realizes Cooler really struggles with the way humans fight. It might be because they aren't as strong as the Saiyans and Piccolo, so he might not have studied them anywhere near as much as he studied the others. That gives him his win con. He puts more pressure on Cooler, throwing out some signature moves until he finally lands on one combo. Solar Flare into Wolf Fang Fist into Special Meme Cannon. He uses a block of Kachin and lowers his power level to match Goten and Trunks, teleporting them all around until he shoots a blast at a block, revealing Trunks, who uses a Solar Flare. Goten then flies in, landing a powerful Wolf Fang Fist, perfectly setting Gohan up for a Special Meme Cannon, as he then fires it, piercing straight through Cooler's chest. Before the Special Beam Cannon can even end, Goten and Trunks launch a duo Big Tree Cannon, finishing Cooler off, which congratulates everyone for dealing with the threats and even unlocking new levels of power. Frieza and Cooler weren't threats to take lightly, considering how much stronger they got in such a short amount of time and how much data Cooler gathered on them. The only reason they were able to successfully take them out was due to a bit of an oversight from Cooler, focusing too much on the Saiyans that he forgot that they could use each other's techniques and fighting styles. Beerus says Cooler was truly a formidable opponent. He's easily a better fighter and better ruler than Frieza ever was. He could have made for an amazing god of destruction if he wasn't evil like his brother, with Whis actually agreeing, saying he could have made for an even better god of destruction than Beerus with how put together he was. He also wasn't trigger happy and was showing lots of patience. Beerus tells Whis to shut up, then says they're going home, with Goku and Vegeta following shortly after. After seeing the performance against Cooler, Gohan takes Goten and Trunks to see Shin. He believes they're both ready to learn some new techniques and also get their potential unlocked. For the next few months, Goten and Trunks both train under Shin, Kibito, and Gohan, gaining new abilities and refining what they've learned against Gohan. With their new ultimate forms, they are on the same level as Goku and Vegeta in their previous fight against Golden Frieza. Speaking of Goku and Vegeta, they recently just participated in a Universe 6 vs Universe 7 tournament. They tried to invite Gohan and the boys to the team, but Gohan declines with the same reason he did in canon. They respect Gohan's decision, deciding to take the boys to test out their new forms. They fight first and almost sweep the entire tournament by themselves until they both get beat by Hit, since his time skip is a bit too much for them to deal with. Goku goes in, and of course, at this point he's so much stronger than Hit that it's not even funny. He wipes the floor with Hit and eliminates him with ease in Super Saiyan Blue. Zeno still appears like he did in canon, and he promises to hold a tournament with all the universes in the future, since he really enjoyed watching them fight. Beerus still wishes for Earth and Universe 6 to be restored with the Super Dragon Ball just like it did in canon, slightly repairing the relationship between him and Champa. We then cut to another universe with Akai watching over the tournament, and he's not a fan of the display of usage of godly power from the mortals. More specifically, Son Goku and his transformation they call Super Saiyan Blue. He believes it makes a mockery of true divinity, and mortals shouldn't be anywhere near the level of gods. This plants the seeds for the Zero Mortals plan in the future. Meanwhile, in the future timeline, everything is destroyed, and we see Trunks rushing back to Capsule Corp with the fuel for the time machine. He managed to make it to Bulma, and she finally fuels up the time machine, and right as he's about to take off, the wall nearby explodes, with a figure advancing forward, erasing Bulma with the Ki Blast as Trunks heads back to the present timeline. Black is then revealed from the smoke, wondering where Trunks ran off to. Then his time ring starts to react, pulling him to the present timeline, arriving shortly after Trunks. Goku and Vegeta both arrived on Earth to gather information from Trunks, with him telling them everything that's happened so far. That's when Black finally appears, catching the attention of Beerus, Whis, and Gohan. They all notice that he has a time ring on his finger, and he has a Batara on his spear. Immediately they think that this guy might be a rogue Kai, but they would have to confirm that for themselves later. Goku fights him just like he did in canon until he finally gets dragged back to the future timeline. But before he goes, he still destroys the time machine. Gohan walks over to Beerus and Whis, and they chat for a bit, discussing the weird energy that Black was emitting. There's no mistaking it. He has imagery similar to a Kai. Whis confirms this, saying he might have an idea whose it is too. Next stop, Universe 10. With that, we'll end this part off here, with Gohan, Beerus, and Whis traveling to Universe 10 to confirm the culprit of the timeline shenanigans. What do you guys think about this part? How do you think the future saga will play out? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below, and remember to like and subscribe. Catch y'all next time. Peace.